Hey yo guys, this is Jared aka the Saint of Sins on Xbox Live, bringing you some more MLB thoughts for Thursday, April 26, 2012. Yesterday was a horrendous day for my picks as I finished up 3-13. That now moves me to 143 and 132 on the season. What I got right was picking the Cardinals over the Cubs, the Athletics over the White Sox, and the Nationals over the Padres. Oddly enough, I was right in picking a split between the Pirates and Rockies. My only big problem was I got the games wrong. In game 1 of the doubleheader, I was close to being correct on picking the Pirates for that one, as James McDonald went 6 innings without surrendering a hit, until Troy Tulowitzki reached on an infield single to third in the top of the 7th. Oddly enough, the Rockies didn't drive in any of their runs on hits, opting instead to push across their 2 runs via the sacrifice fly. McDonald would finish the day going 7 innings, surrendering 1 run on 1 hit and 3 walks with 8 strikeouts. That now drops his ERA on the season to 2.78. In Game 2, I was banking on Jhoulys Chacín to follow up his previous outing at Milwaukee, in which he gave up 3 runs on 4 hits and a walk in 7 innings, to come up with a quality start against the Pirates. Instead, he would give up 5 runs on 8 hits and 2 walks, surrendering 2 home runs in 5 innings. Yesterday also proved to be a momentous occasion for Paul Konerko, who out in Oakland became the 48th Major League player to join the 400 home run club, as he hit a game-tying solo shot in the 9th inning off of Grant Balfour. While over in Texas, the New York Yankees got some bitter news as they watched Phil Hughes melt down on the mound. Their 23-year-old pitching pickup from the Mariners, Michael Pineda, will be out for the season as he undergoes surgery for a torn labrum. This news certainly doesn't bode well, as the Yankees starting rotation has completely flopped, with Freddy Garcia pitching to a 9.75 ERA, surrendering 13 earned runs on 20 hits in just 12 innings in his last 3 outings, and as Phil Hughes continues to struggle. In fact, during yesterday's game, in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Hughes would go on to hit Josh Hamilton after surrendering an RBI groundout to Elvis Andrus, and then hit Nelson Cruz after surrendering an RBI single to Adrian Beltre and then an RBI double to Michael Young. The 25-year-old right-hander now sits on a 7.88 ERA with a 1.88 WHIP. The only upside for Hughes now is that he's fanned 17 in only 16 innings pitched. And sticking to the topic of disappointments, Albert Pujols finished the day 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in the Angels' 3-2 loss to the Tampa Bay Rays. Pujols is now hitless for his last 19 at-bats and still has yet to drive in an RBI since his April 15th matchup against the New York Yankees. The last time I spoke about Pujols, I said I wasn't worried about him, but now these are growing concerns. It's one thing to be homerless in your last 72 at-bats. It's a whole other story to be hitless in your last 19 at-bats and not have driven in an RBI in the last 10 days. Pujols now sits at a 222 average with 4 RBIs and an on-base percentage of .282. And finally, wrapping up yesterday's news on a lighter note, Matt Kemp hit his 10th home run of the season off of Brandon Beachy in the Dodgers' 2-4 loss to the Braves. In the last 7 days, Kemp is hitting 10 for 23 with 4 home runs and 6 RBIs with 5 walks, and now places himself as the top leader for batting average, home runs, and runs batted in for the National League. Should he maintain this pace, he'll become the first hitter to win the National League Triple Crown since Joe Medwick in 1937, and the first hitter to win the batting Triple Crown since Carl Yastrzemski in 1967. That'll do it for yesterday's news. Now let's take a look at what we have to look forward to on today's matchups. Luis Mendoza will take to the mound to face off against the Cleveland Indians' Josh Tomlin in what I suspect will be a tribe victory. The Giants will send up Ryan Vogelsong to avoid the sweep in Cincinnati as he faces off against Homer Bailey. I'm likely to get burned on this, but I'm siding with the Reds to take the sweep. The Mariners will look to sweep in Detroit, sending up Hector Noesi to duel Rick Porcello. I've been burned twice now by picking the Tigers, but I'll be sticking with them in this matchup. Matt Moore and the Rays will look to sweep the visiting Angels as they face off against Jerome Williams. Sign me up for a Rays sweep. Oddly enough, I'll also be siding with a sweep in New York, as the Mets send up Jonathan Neese to take on the Marlins' Ricky Nolasco. The Blue Jays will send up rookie Drew Hutchinson to avoid the sweep in Baltimore as they face off against the Orioles' Brian Mattis. I'll be siding with the Orioles in this one to take the sweep simply because Hutchinson's last outing proved to be very underwhelming. The Red Sox travel out to Chicago, sending up Felix DeBront to face off against Philip Humber. I went back and forth on this one a little bit, but I'll ultimately be siding with the Red Sox to take Game 1 of this series. And finally, in San Diego, the Nationals will send up Edwin Jackson to face off against Edinson Volquez. This one I'm really torn on, but I'll be siding with the Padres to avoid the sweep. That's going to do it for this edition of MLB Thoughts. I will see you guys later. Peace.
Wow.